Hi, welcome back to yet again another episode of the 8-Bit Retro Refix. And on this week's episode we're going to be making a replica Silver Label. This is not a real Silver Label, it will never be portrayed as a Silver Label. I know there's quite a strong niche with these guys that in the community about making replicas because they think they're going to get sold on. It's not going to get sold on as a replica. Before I close it up and seal it, I'm going to sign inside it, built by 8-Bit Retro Refix, and put my signature on in the inside of that board, on the bottom side of the case, not the board, on the case. So people, if they ever go inside it, will know that this is not a real Silver Label. The other stuff that we built, we've done the Sixtyclone boards made by Rob Taylor. Rob's currently on with making the SX64 boards. Some of you know the previous videos I've mentioned the two SXs that I've got. One of them, both ntsc systems. One of them I'm going to convert to PAL, but I'll do that with one of the CPU boards that Rob Taylor makes, and I'll recreate a CPU board to put in there, put an LCD screen in, and we'll convert the power supplies over to PAL power supplies as well for UK power, so I don't have to carry the inverter around with that, but that's for the SX. The other replica that we built on previous videos was the 1581 replica. I'll go into a little bit more about that in the video. Guys, if you're enjoying the episodes and the stuff that I'm doing and the builds that I'm doing, please hit the notification bell, please hit the subscribe bell. It all helps the channel to get into the analytics, for it to be shown elsewhere. So please hit that thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and hit the subscribe if you want to see more content. So, we are also on Facebook, we're also on Twitter, and we're also on Instagram. So have a look down in the description. Excuse me. All the links down there in the description are for you to pop along and join us if you wish. There's another great lad in our group called Lee Ashmore, which builds these things as well. Lee's helped me out quite a lot with building my first one, so much appreciated for that, Lee. So let's get on with building the Silver Label. Let's get to it. So if you're like me and you enjoy building these things like the 1581 disk drive or anything else, pop along to PCB Way. They do all sorts of things. They do prototype boards, they do board assembly. If you don't want to build the boards yourself, they will assemble all the board for you. They also do flexi boards as well now. They do HDI PCBs. And if you really want to go into CNC machining, they do that as well, and 3D printing. So if there's anything that you're thinking about doing, building wise of electronics, pop along to PCB Way. The prices start from as little as £5 and go all the way up. But yes, PCB Way is the way forward and the best place to go for your PCBs. Right, so in the previous episodes, you guys know that I've built the 1581 disk drive. I've not done part 2 on that yet. We're having problems with the disk drive. Some of them work, some of them don't work. So I'm just trying to get one to accommodate the housing. And as soon as I get the disk drive sorted out, so it's all up and running, I'll do a part 2 on the 1581 disk drive. Also, you know in the previous videos that I've built the 60Clone, the red board, the 466, and you know that I've also built the 407 board. Yeah, okay, these chips are not populated, the board does work, I've just stole these chips to put into the KU board for the Silver Label. So what I decided to do, because these Silver Labels are so expensive, you're probably looking at £350, £400, maybe £500 now for a Silver Label, which is absolutely crazy. So what I wanted to do is create my own display Silver Label Commodore 64. It will never ever be sold as a Commodore 64 Silver Label. There's the serial number on the back, which I'll show you. So as I said, the serial number on the back does not match a Silver Label. I don't want it to be an exact copy, I just want it to look like one. So these stickers, also on the Silver Labels, originals, they don't have these dots in the bottom here. As you can see, that sticker I've had to mould around that dot. But as I said, they are not on the Silver Label model. You'll notice it as well on the Silver Label, when we're going down the back here, it tells us exactly what these ports are: user, tape, serial, etc. on the original Silver Label. This one doesn't. So as I said, it's not being portrayed as one. Although when you look on the end plate, the power is going the correct way. And it is a KU board that's inside here. So all these stickers that you can see that I've got on here, these all came from the Badgeman. He's on Twitter. He also has a website as well, which I'll post in the description. So you can go over there and have a look at some of his stuff. What the Badgeman does is quite a lot of stuff. On the website where he sells them there, you'll also find a lot of the chips, a lot of logic chips. There's a hell of a lot of stuff on that website. But I'll post a link down in the bottom for you, so you can check that out. So what I did with this Silver Label, I ended up acquiring a KU board, which what I'll do now is I'll just lift that top off, let you have a look. So that is an original KU board. This tin shield is not original. If you look, there is a slight colour variation between the bottom one and the top. I believe these more of a matte finish on the originals. But that is one of the KU-14194HB motherboards. That's all up and running perfectly after I populated it with the chips from that 407 board. So we're almost a Silver Label, and that's why I call the video Almost a Silver Label, because it's not quite a Silver Label. It will never be put across. As I said previously, I'll never sell it on. It's my own. It's staying with me in my collection, because I've never had hold of a Silver Label, and I'd like to have one in the same way. I have got an Aldi. I do have the G. I do have quite a lot of the models. There is an earlier motherboard where the capacitors are down here at the bottom. I can't quite remember the number of that now. So it is slightly different up here, around here with the capacitors and stuff like that. And I think the boxes are slightly bigger as well. And that's a slightly earlier board than what the KU Ref B board is. Serial number on this one is 13755, so it's not particularly young, although it is quite young. The serial number on the back, well, you can't see it because we're upside down, is 229502, and it's a UK one. Most of these were all built in Germany, so that serial number on the back doesn't hold up with the Silver Labels. As I said before, I'm not going to change that. I don't want to portray it as a full-blown Silver Label. So that's what I wanted to do. So now we've got that, let's just pop these back in. Trying to be careful of them little tags at the back, because they are an absolute pain for breaking off. So as you can see, that looks really, really smart. If you're interested in these badges or any other badges from the Badgeman, he does the CD32 stuff. He'll do the Sixtyclone ones for you. You know, we've got a little bit of gel over the top. In fact, he'll do custom badges for you as well. So if you go along to the Badgeman, have a word with him. He's a really nice guy. I got one, the 1541 disk drive, the one down here that I've got on here. That badge also came from him, along with these Silver Label badges. I know it's a short but sweet one this week. but there is lots and lots coming up in the future. So stay tuned. So, okay, what did you think of that? That's his Replica Silver Label Commodore 64 for display purpose only in my collection. And I must stress on it, it is for display purpose only. It's for me, as I said, I've made the Replica 60s clone boards, I've made the Replica 1581, I've made the Replica Silver Label. I'm thinking about getting the VIC-20 board and doing a replica on that. I mentioned earlier on that the SX, I'm going to do a replica on the SX CPU board as well, converting that to PAL. So once again, thanks for watching another episode of the 8-Bit Retro Refix, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.